Yeah. We're live. How art thou? We have Max the Animal. We got Austin Mac and Cheesy out here from the incubator.
Get the traps flexing, dog. There you go.
Show.
That's how we go live, baby.
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that looks fucking good, dude. I'm so
Does it?
proud of us, right? Does it not?
I feel like I look a little bright.
Well, you're really close to the light.
Yeah.
How am I looking?
Fucking
You're in
Looking
a
good.
good spot.
Beautiful.
May have to switch halfway through. Oh shit! Speaking of lighting,
Swap.
here comes the fucking man himself.
Noah, the god himself. He
Walking in.
Noah filmed and edited the entire promo video. We
Is
put
that
together.
right? The man, the myth.
This project pretty much happened because of his ass.
That guy did a good job.
Love you, dog.
What's good, everybody? So we wanted to kind of just like recap the project in its entirety. Austin hit me up today and was like, we usually get on a call Wednesdays like 3:30, just go over any immediate agenda items that we have. You know, what do we got to do to push the project forward? Anything website we got to tinker with, whatever. And I was like, rather than call, why don't we just make this into a piece of content? You know, we are trying to make this the most documented process fantasy experience of all time. So we want people that are in it to really see what's going on behind the scenes. So we want to talk about some of the logistics. We want to talk about any questions that you guys might have in terms of how this whole process went, like how you can integrate it with your brand or company or business. So I'll let Austin kind of just give a quick background on himself and like the incubator, what you guys are cooking up, who you might be a good help to in the industry.
Hell yeah. Well, anyway, thank you for having me here. It's been a hell of a, when did we start working? Probably 6 months ago?
I think February.
Yeah.
Probably about 6 months. And it has been a roller coaster. It's been a fun ride.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Wouldn't be better any other way. So a little bit about me. So I've been in crypto for a while, since like 2014. I started hearing about it as a freshman in college, doing freshman in college things. And so I had Bitcoin 18 or miners in my fraternity's attic. And I just started kind of falling in love with it. And then I started creating content on TikTok, as kind of a lot of TikTokers, or at least
Have heard of it.
we've heard of it. We've heard of it.
No little thing or
dabble.
So I started working for a Bitcoin ATM company, and I kind of got engulfed in the space. And then through content creation, I started to notice that a lot of people didn't necessarily know what was going on. Like things that I thought were easy, things that I thought were simple, like making a MetaMask wallet. Like everybody in the Discord community right now kind of knows that, like, you know, it's not as easy, right? Animal, how many tickets have you?
Real question though, actually, how many tickets have you gone through?
I can tell you the exact. We're at ticket 472 right now.
472 of there's 600 NFTs. Like, so clearly there's a friction from people that don't know crypto and people that onboarding to crypto. So I found that, okay, there's an opportunity there. So we started a community called the Incubator, which was just about getting people involved. And then we slowly realized that, okay, businesses also need to figure out how they're doing this. So we started working with companies like BDG on helping them with their NFT either launch or helping them strategize from a marketing standpoint to get into this. And we've kind of worked with some of the biggest companies. We've worked directly with TikTok. I've done a live stream with them. They had me on like kind of the Discover page.
You got a hookup there? Because we're currently shadow banned.
Yeah, they are all over our ass right now.
They're
Unbelievable. We have an account warning on the top of our profile. It's like, if you do one more bullshit thing, we're gonna throw you off. We got another one last night because someone said something and I replied with it saying, "Thank you, Beast," like a compliment. I was like, "Thanks, Beast," and they were like, "Warning on your account,
dude,
fraud, scam."
TikTok is absurd. They'll take you away like this. Like, so it was actually funny when I first. So they, like, in June of last year, so 2021. I don't know if you remember, but they were like, "We're banning all TikTok content."
Dude,
like,
I remember.
Or
that.
banning all crypto TikTok content. They're like, no more crypto stuff. And so I'm in the crypto niche, and like all of my creator
content.
Yeah, I was like, you can't take my content away. You're banning me. So they do that. And I'm like, I don't really talk about random like altcoins, like saying buy this, buy that. And so that happened. And then like 2 weeks later, I spoke with their team and they're like, okay, we want to do a learning seminar on TikTok about crypto. Like the actual like basics, like not pushing coins, like a foundational understanding. So I worked with them. I was on like kind of the Discover, like tap into this. There was like 500,000 people streamed into that. And I was just explaining crypto.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So there was like 15, 20K concurrent viewers. And at this time I was in Long Island in my parents' basement. So I'm literally in my parents' basement, like TikTok live streaming. So that was fun. This past NFT NYC, we worked with Urban Outfitters just to kind of teach people about Web3. And yeah, it's been a fun ride. And the cool thing is we don't really know where we're going in a year because like the space is literally, it changes every day.
Yeah, it's too new to know exactly where it's headed. I feel like we have probably gotten out of that stage of like where just the insanity that we saw early on, where you saw like everything just going absolutely bonkers, things selling for 20, 30, 40, 50 ETH. Like I think we're out of that stage and we're kind of going on to that next stage.
Well, for sure. It was a cool, it was wild because crypto kind of NFTs hit at the same time that the economy was fucking booming.
Yeah.
So everybody was buying into it and the value was all inflated.
Yeah.
And the economy came down at the same time that like people realized most NFTs are just bullshit. They don't have any utility behind it or whatever.
That's the next stage I think we're going to be heading to.
That's just it. Well, here's
like, utility based.
I mean, we talked about this, like NFTs they're no different than just a product. Like if you don't have an audience and you just create a sneaker, why would people who have never heard of your company buy your sneaker? Like makes no sense. Like no difference.
And in the beginning of like the gold rush, let's call it the NFT gold rush, you could do whatever and people were just minting it on speculation because in anticipation of like this price hike. And that novelty, the unfortunate reality is gone in a sense that if you just want to launch an NFT, there needs to be a reason for it. So you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to sell an NFT. Like who's showing up come mint day? And yeah, it's been a crazy ride, right? We saw like Animal's a degen, I'm a degen, you're a degen as well.
I'm smart. I'm intelligent. I pick my spots.
Exactly. So yeah, it's been pretty crazy, but now we're kind of getting into a little bit maturity in the market where we're seeing brands and companies leverage these assets and these tools for what they're capable of and some like the utility-based projects.
We got a question from Josh, one of our big supporters. We love you, Josh. He said, would you say the longevity of your company is solely tied to the longevity of NFTs? I think that's probably speaking towards you.
Yeah. So no, primarily because we do a number of things from marketing to just being talented engineers. End of the day, NFTs are no different than technology. So if let's say NFTs were gone tomorrow, our team is very capable engineers. So it's like, we'll just keep building other things. Like, so before I got into NFTs, I didn't really dive into this, but I'm a developer myself. So like, I've just built a ton of shit. And right before like I really started building in the NFT space, I was actually like a quote unquote professional gambler. I think I told you guys about this.
What's up, brother?
Yeah. So basically, long story short, I built like
a blackjack, counting cards. Is that it?
Not sports gambling, actually.
No,
sharp.
that was Dalton. Was counting cards.
Yeah.
Was he counting cards?
I've talked to a lot of degenerate gamblers,
So well, we'll keep this short, but basically we were doing arbitrage on online sports books to find guaranteed profits and guaranteed kind of either middles. Anyway, so we built that. We got kicked off of every online casino. And then we're like, okay, we're going to build over here. So if NFTs go away, it's just kind of like, we're going to continue to build.
It's kind of similar to like, if you built your following on a single platform and like, if we, 6 months ago, if they're like YouTube went away, it's like, would you guys be fucked? It's like, well, it goes away because the eyeballs have to have gone somewhere in the same way that like, there's always going to be a demand for developers. So it's like, okay, where's the demand for the developers? That's where you go.
What are you developing? What do you need to change about what you're doing now to develop this new product or whatever?
Exactly. If TikTok banned BDG, hopefully,
they have fucking problems.
They're gonna have a problem. They're gonna have a problem. But you would just create it on Instagram. You would create it on YouTube. You would create it on the next one. And also,
that actually is TikTok's the only one that's really hard to actually replicate.
Like anywhere
virality. Here's the thing: with
you get
TikTok,
banned on TikTok, you can't like go somewhere else and be like, I'll just do it somewhere else. It's like, nah.
Yeah,
that's the only one.
Well, our TikTok story is just so non-repeatable, and it's just not a real. It's not a projectable. It's not like a thing I would tell people. I would never be like, "This is how you grow on TikTok. Look at what we did." Just I would have the same approach I did with YouTube to TikTok if I was actually trying to help someone grow. So I think like with us, it would be devastating because we got really lucky and we blew up kind of out of nowhere with it. Now we're here.
But you would pivot. Like we started working together before you were even on TikTok. Or like so. You clearly had gotten there without TikTok. Like, so if it wasn't TikTok, it would have been another thing. Like, it's just about this persistence. And like a side thing with NFTs going away, I just don't think that's happening. Like
it's not. It's just the people, the way they think about NFTs right now is still they think about NFTs as like artwork, and artwork is just going to be such a small fraction of what this technology actually is in 10 years.
The NFT gold rush has gone away. Like those like days where you could just like buy something and then wait like a week or a month and it goes up 10, 20 ETH and ETH is $3,000-$4,000. Like that's gone.
Yeah.
Like ETH may go up still, yeah, sure, but NFTs, you're not going to see those insane values except for maybe those top tier products.
What we're also
are still going to be climbing slowly.
What we're also going to see, I think, too, is like the NFT technology utilized as less of like a product too, as like companies are going to be using it to track things rather than having it as an NFT that they're selling to people. You know what I mean?
Oh,
that's like one of the coolest, highest upsides parts of NFTs, I think.
Yeah, there's I don't know, there's so many use cases for it, from like empowering an audience, empowering brands, and what you can build around it. Right now, there's a ton of friction for businesses to get into it. We saw it like initially to start with the BDG3 NFT. A lot of people didn't have the ETH to buy it.
Yeah.
So like we were able to integrate credit card purchasing, and that was just an example of removing friction for the user. And that's just a brand new thing that we found, and we were able to integrate it. Like, but it was like
that's huge. That's huge going forward for projects that you work on. Like we probably had minted out maybe 400 at the time, and most people, because this is just the way consumers behave, it's like they don't take actionable steps until the exact second they need to.
Yes.
And in this case, we didn't have that leverage.
Oh, this is tomorrow. What do I need to do? Oh shit! Like I need to wait 4 days. Well, shit. And then now that we implement you can do it right now. Just use your credit card. Boom. People that do that, like you said, like we let them know about this 1 month, 2 months in advance. Like, hey, you need to get your ETH. You need to do this,
and
X, Y, Z. And multiple people didn't. More than multiple people, majority of the people didn't.
And then eventually, like what we did, putting the credit card to use, will become the norm for all of these projects.
For sure.
Like you want to subtract the friction, man. The idea is so good and so pure behind NFTs for the most part, like in the pure technology sense of it, that it's just a lack of tech development, man. Once more people start getting into it, it's like it's really only a fucking matter of time, which is why I'm glad we got in early. I'm glad we got in to like launch our first project, because this was something we started back in February, and I had the idea probably 2 months prior to that while I was like interviewing with other agencies and shit.
I'm almost happier that we launched it like at the time that we did, whereas it wasn't during that super boom rush for everything, because who knows like how where we could be right now with the actual
yeah. And I think
I think this is good.
I think there's a ton of value. So like one of the things a lot of people they're like, oh, why didn't you launch an NFT with the incubator? Like, because we had all of the tech, we had all the marketing, we had all the ways to do it during the gold rush. And the reason for, I'm like, we weren't ready as a business to raise 400, 500K and then give back value to our NFT holders. Like me as kind of like a founder, we weren't ready for that. I was like, I couldn't explain that. However, for like you guys, it's like, you're so much farther along as a business from an operational standpoint, from understanding like that you can deliver A, B, C, and D, that what we raise, whatever, it's like, this is just kind of empowering the fan base. Like, I think it's
the next steps will always I think for the most part, 99% of NFTs, if they're going to become products and be sellable, will only work if you have a built-in audience already, if you have a built-in customer base. It made no sense how the NFT rush started, being able to sell $100,000 worth of a product, having never fucking run a business or been someone who sold something before. It was crazy how this shit started out. Let's talk about the project a little bit. So obviously we've had some bumps and bruises along the way. I think since we've been in the office, we've gone through a lot just as a fucking business, NFT projects alike, but we've had a lot of stuff that kind of come our way. This was probably the toughest of anything that we've had to kind of endure. So we've had tons of challenges. I'm curious from your guys' side, the biggest challenge for you, was it keeping our fucking head on straight when things went awry?
Well, a little. End of the day, it's like working.
Probably 2 or 3 days there where.
Well, I definitely want to ask, because like you guys saw me firsthand, just like bugging, like just bugging you guys, and I felt like, so I have questions there on like, and I guess we'll probably dive into like the process of mint and just like the whole, because it was 5-6 days where it's like you're working on things, we're talking behind the scenes, and we're just having conversations. So probably dive into that. But like from our side, the biggest challenge is we have our development team, and you guys didn't start working with them until like really it was time to start working with them. And that's kind of like part of what it is, right? So I'll be working with you. And so I'm juggling, like kind of communicating with our team, but it's hard because we don't even know what we're doing. Like, I remember the one call we hopped on and I was like totally ready for you to be like, we're not doing it. It's like, yeah, like that's what I expected for the, like,
I think we had like multiple calls.
It
Like
was
that.
definitely a day for sure where we were like, it's done.
Well, we were just like sitting on like a Zoom or whatever, and we were just like brainstorming or just saying things, saying ideas, because from my side, this has been one of the more fun teams to work with, because an existing brand, an existing company, and you know what you're doing, you have an audience, like that excites me outside of like, because it's end of the day, it's helping your business grow, helping our business grow. Like, it's an opportunity. And so like when it comes to the credit card purchase, like this is an opportunity for you guys, but also for us.
Yeah, dude. When we went through all that like friction for that like week or so period, the ups and downs of emotions for me personally was almost unlike anything I've experienced before. Because this was something I've never been more sure about something that was going to be an absolute fucking smash hit. I was like, this is it. This is the combination. This is like the culmination of all the work we've done. I said it in the promo video. I was like, everything cool that we've done as a brand is built up to allow us to do this project.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it kind of came crashing down. And I was like, I didn't sleep for like a fucking week straight.
Yeah.
It was killer. And we just didn't want to let go. I don't know. We just needed some sort of guidance or someone that we could trust telling us like, listen, I mean, in a sense, we were a little bit over our heads from the amount of maybe promo or the amount of just like people coming out of nowhere. That
I think just the initial launch, it went well, and then it just kind of, like you're saying, it just got over our heads.
It got over our heads for sure. I mean, that's a big learning lesson for us. It's like things like we are a brand that's always thrived on being more vision focused than necessarily fine-tuning things and perfection.
We've always been a little sloppy, you know,
but that's also part of the fun. Like, that's why people like it, because
I feel like it makes us a little more relatable. Maybe like, listen, you know,
our attention to detail needs work when it's something that's going to be this important to our company.
And
that's
I think that's also like,
also
a lesson learned for me, right? Like, because I need to know to ask the right questions, to push the right buttons where need to be pushed.
Yeah.
And so like that was definitely a lesson learned for me.
One thing I also want to bring up, when we first started with you, because the NFT space was just so unknown, and you were like, oh, I'm a developer. And we were like talking behind the scenes. We're like, listen, we're going to give them a decent, I mean, we gave you the retainer each month and then 10% of the mint that you guys took. So I think it ended up being like a pretty decent chunk of change. So this is money that we were serious money that we were investing to you guys. And I had spoken with a few other agencies, and like we got off the call with you and we're like, you know, we get along with Austin, obviously, like we vibe on like a person to person level, and we just like didn't know what we were looking for. You know what I mean? Like we got on a call, we're like, we think he could do the job. He sounds cool. He sounds fun, but like,
sounds like he knows what he's doing.
It's like, can we do this ourselves? Like, do we know what we're fucking doing? So we were like kind of hesitant. I'm glad we obviously didn't like jump ship on that. One thing I really appreciate about you and your team over there is that the more we work with like outside parties, the more it just feels like it's just fluff and bullshit in terms of execution. You guys there was never a point where we got off a call and we were like, we'll do ABC, y'all do XYZ. And you came back and we're like, hey, we couldn't do this. Or like, hey, something came up. We'll get this to you in a few days or whatever. It's like, if we gave you something to do, you guys got it done quickly. And like, that's something not to be like understated, because a lot of fucking third parties don't.
A lot of places put it on like a calendar and go like, all right, like on Wednesday at 3 o'clock, we'll get to it. It's like,
look, 5 to 7 business days. When 7 hits, they'll be like, sorry, we just need like 1 or 2. It's like, dude, get your shit done.
No. And I think that's like, part of it is like, a lot of these dev agencies, a lot of the people in crypto who are like crypto native, they don't like, a lot of them don't really know how to like work with people, but B, they don't necessarily like that human to human interaction is, and we have our super talented engineering team. We have the rest of our team. And like we just pride ourselves in like being overbearing, like where it's like, okay, Austin, relax. Like we're hanging out. Like, can you chill? Like, I'd rather
you
that.
know who else was like that? Steve Jobs.
You know who else dropped out of college? Steve fucking Jobs.
No, but I do appreciate that. And like, yeah, right. You guys took a risk. We had one intro call, I think.
We had one intro call when I still lived at my old apartment.
And then
in the office, you and Chris, I think, were in for the next one.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a new space too. Like, the NFT space is so new. So like, there's all, you have no real, like, other than, the Cryptoon Goons and the other projects, wherever that you've had, like, there's really not a huge resume that we can go off and be like, hey, these are obviously a well-trusted guys.
That was the other thing. It's like you guys have this one name to attach to your resume, and it's just like, sorry, I don't mean to like take shots at you guys, but it's like, listen, it's very easy to ride one successful project and then be like, well, we can trust them because like this other team that was successful trusted them too. So it was tough for us in the beginning, just like being completely transparent. But
that's something with any business, right? You have to build up case studies. You have to deliver. Like executing is one of the most
client lists,
like
all of that.
It's like, that's why execution is just so critical. And like with kind of the Goons, right? When we were doing the Goons portal, which was their second project, we knew that there was a ton of eyeballs going to be on it. We're like, and that was a freaking complex build. And that, like, going into it, and with these launches, they're unlike kind of other tech launches where, let's say you
wait for something to go wrong to know what
that's the other thing. Like, dude, you guys did not, I don't think there was one single tech slip up the entire project.
Yeah.
Which I was shocked by. I would have put the over in at like fucking 6.5 or something. You know what I mean? Not a single thing.
No, yeah. And we've done these things. We've done these. And like our team, right? Our team is like former Disney streaming, like former HBO. Like we've done some of the biggest, like literally like Game of Thrones launches. Like we've done launches. So we know the steps. But the scary part is with Web3 is it's permanent. And like a lot is permanent.
Most of it, yeah.
Most of it, a lot of it isn't. So it's scary, right? And it's real money.
We've got a good question from Josh, but we could probably all answer differently. He said, more nerve-wracking day, mint day or the whitelist 24-hour release? So when we dropped that first promo video.
Mint day.
You were mint day?
Like waking up that day, going into it, mint day. For
me, it was the initial launch for sure. And
the video was too good where I was like, I wasn't worried about it.
Well, that was the thing. If that video flopped, then I'm like, if that flopped, then everything is gonna fucking flop.
But no,
it was the first, and I used this. I said this before we put that video out, and I was talking about it on like the Why Yelling podcast. I was like, this is the first real time that we're being completely like out there and vulnerable as a business. You know, like how much push do you really have in the industry? And I was like, I don't know if we get 100 people to sign up or some shit. And obviously the whitelist like jumped off, and then we had the problems with the article and all that kind of bullshit, but it felt good. And then mint day again was kind of the same thing. It was like, fuck, we took a hit. Like, how do we?
Oh, it's scary. Like putting yourself out there and be like, yo, we're doing this. And then that's kind of like when I, after the first day of the mint, we chatted. I was like, yo, like, like you're doing, like, you gotta be like, like you've earned the right.
You're like, you gotta go talk your shit.
Yeah. Like I was like, yo, you gotta go talk your shit. Like you've earned the right. And when you've earned the right, you can talk your shit.
Yeah. And after that, it was just like, all right, I'm going live streaming.
That got me hyped.
TikTok videos. We're doing YouTube videos every day, Instagram, Twitter videos and shit like that. And that along with the credit card buildup was able to push us from like the initial 200 to 300. We just kind of kept creeping.
Credit card was huge, game changer. For anyone out there who's if you're going to do any type of NFT project in the future, highly recommend using that CrossMint or whatever. CrossMint was the one that we use. Obviously you talk to Austin and Mac and Cheesy here, and he'll hook you up.
Yeah, if anyone's out there like in the industry and is thinking about a project, like you can hit any of us up on Twitter. I also put all of Austin and the incubators like contact info in the description down below. This is just get on an intro call with them and kind of get a feel for where you're at and what you can do. Obviously, this was like a large undertaking, and there was so many moving parts involved with it. And I would say at the end of the day, it was like I feel like it was a success. Just being in the Discord for the last like week or so has made me feel like people are super pumped. And we had a comment from Aaron Marsh. She said, this project inspired me to get into crypto and the NFT space. Appreciate it, gents. Not only did I get a crash course EDU, I also got to be a part of an awesome project. Aaron was the dude who bought the 101.
Oh, let's go, Aaron. I saw that on second, and then I just sent it in like our internal chat. I was like, yo, this is why it's dope.
Yeah.
Like
the secondary market dynamics of it were going to be so cool.
Like, and in the middle of the season, if like the 101, let's say they have like this fire team, and now they're all over, and it's like it's going neck and neck, and now it's like it's maybe the end of the bash, right? And there's 2 teams left. Like, there's an offer for 4 ETH.
Right.
Or there's 5 ETH.
This is what I was thinking. Okay, like because the grand prize 10,000 shares of our company. What if someone who doesn't care about fantasy, but they've been like following us, and there's someone who's an investor, and they're like, I can put an estimate on what these shares are going to be worth in 5 years. I'm going to buy this for
I'm getting chills just
$25,000.
like the game dynamics. And this comes back to like why NFTs are so dope, because it shifts the ownership and like the user information from the company to the user. Like that's why like Web3, right? Read, write, and own. Like this is owning. You own that right. Like, and you get to do with what you want with it. Like nobody here could be like, yo, wait, you got to keep your team to the end of the bash. It's like, I'm going to field offers.
Yeah.
I'm going to see what
someone offered me this much for it.
Yeah.
I don't have to keep it. I could just take this. I'm happy with this.
I'm so pumped to see how that shit works out. It's going to be
very
cool.
It's an experiment too, which is
after the draft.
I do have to give like you guys kudos from like when we were talking about it and going from the 3 year to the 1 year. I think that
was honestly, that was all Animal's
I think
idea.
Throw the flex, but I think that will set it up for so much more success, because
you can learn each year.
Well, you're going to learn every year, and the because right now with the NFT, right? So it's this collection. Let's say the same 600 holders were to hold the next collection, but now you can introduce different metadata. You can have like different dynamics with it for that second collection, because you learned, oh, maybe we need league, pick, and like favorite alcoholic beverage, or like or like some. And we've chatted about
3 years would have locked us into not being able to make changes, because once you promise something up front, that's the bare minimum of what you have to deliver. So that was like a really smart move on your part to push me to make sure I fucking saw that, because there's a lot of times throughout this project, like I remember the initial meetings we had, Animal, where we were in there weekly, if not like, twice a week or whatever. And just thinking of the ideas of the thing, like this setting versus this setting, I was more so just yelling at you, but I'm like, this is not it. This is not it. This is not it. And it's like, that's just how I operate with the business though, And
I mean, after many years now working with you, I understand how it goes. So I'm used to it. It's good. But, I mean, the whole 1 year thing, like I said, it's really just so like we can take it 1 year at a time. Like if you have the pass now, it doesn't mean that like, it's 1 year if it's promised for now. You're guaranteed your 1 year. We can say at any time, like, hey, if you hold the bash pass, BDG3 pass 1, you may get 50% off the mint price, or you may get we can do whatever we want from there. So that's why it's
beautiful.
And it's in like,
stay tuned
as a brand. So this goes for every brand, but like as a brand, you're empowering this community, and like no matter what, you own that pass for the rest of time. So 10 years from now, when BDG is like this massive media conglomerate, you're probably going to want to give back to those people that bought day one. Like you're going to see you minted day one, like
no-brainer.
Like that. It isn't like it's branding 101. Like I forget the quote you said on the live stream. You don't know shit about brands, or whatever.
I need to get that shit on a t-shirt.
You literally need that on a t-shirt. I want that on, but like it's in BDG's best interest to give back to these people who support them, because it goes to like the 1,000 true fans theory, and the amount of things that you can do will just expand. Like, it really is.
Yeah.
Exciting.
I mean, a couple of years, if we get a new office space and it's like a huge office space, imagine what the holders lounge could look like by then. There's all these things that can just grow with they get the chance to grow with us.
And the coolest part, like we're an idea company, you know what I mean? It's like, we can't always, the execution is sometimes out of our reach, but like the ideas are going to be there. So I think we can be as creative.
Work with us, give us time. We'll eventually,
We got a question or kind of a statement from Luke F. through us $5. Very
appreciate you.
You guys don't have to super chat us. Well, any questions that are not like football or fantasy related, we will get down the list, but we appreciate that. He said, been here since 15. I don't even know if I was making YouTube videos in 2015, but couldn't imagine fantasy without y'all. Wishing the best. How do you guys manage risk reward in the decision-making process? I can start with this. Risk reward is pretty easy for me. If the risk is anything that's really significant legally, we won't push it. If the risk will bottom us out, we probably won't push it. Other than that, I'm very open to just being extremely risky if it's something I really believe in. Like with this project, when we had to pivot and turn around, it was because we had to talk to like fucking 5 lawyers to see if this would land us in a ton of trouble.
Yeah, we didn't want to risk all
the
the
whole
BDGE company just for something that we were launching this year. That was obviously a very big project, but something that we've built for 5 years now. You don't want to just have it crash and burn all of a sudden. So obviously, you
think about how much you've invested into it, how much you're willing to risk, and I think also same goes for like investing in like NFT or investing in anything realistically. Don't gamble. Don't invest anything that you can't afford to lose. That's the way I would look at it.
Exactly. Like if you have a business, I wouldn't recommend like putting it up for collateral on something real, like stuff like that. Like if you can't afford to lose it, don't risk it. That's really it. Like that's my way to look at it.
Yeah. If I'm gonna roll the dice, sorry, go ahead.
No, this is a decision. This is somewhat visionary, and sure, there's other NFTs, and like, oh, you're not the first to launch an NFT, but like, what other like real brands are like really doing NFTs,
like getting in the grid with
like
this shit,
getting in the, and sure, Nike, Adidas did like their NFT, but they're kind of
like Full Send is probably we're not the closest, like that's the closest thing to like us is like they're like some type of a media brand or whatever, where they have their pass. I think it's still like sitting pretty high, but like I don't know what they've actually done as far as utility wise and deliver anything like to their holders. I have no idea. So maybe if anyone out there is a Full Send, let us know. But
I'm sure they have. I'm sure they've been delivering on it, but maybe they just don't like promote it about what they're doing.
Yeah, maybe it's something only the holders.
I also like, I don't know what they're doing in their community and like what's going on there, but it's not a bad thing to be in the. I think Full Send and the Nelk Boys are like some of the best.
They're just a good team to bet on.
Literally the best. Like so, and come back to kind of one of the original questions. It was like, what if NFTs go away? I am not smart enough to know where things are going. Like I like to trail sharps. So like, what is Animal looking at? Like, what is like,
what games are you betting on?
What is Animal betting on? What is Gary V betting on? What is Mark Cuban betting on? What are like the biggest and smartest people in the space betting on? And I'll just trail them.
Yeah,
like, I'll just like
a lot of timing too. Like if you're early enough, and if you're just like willing to take that chance on something unknown. Like that's kind of how you get those hits. That's how you get those.
It's part trailing them, but it's also part like you could trail them in two senses. You could trail them in the sense that you're investing your money behind what they are, but also you decide that that's a thing you want to invest your time and energy to learn about. So if like, if like Gary V's like, yo, I fuck with this thing, maybe you'll go out and buy, like I bought like Creature World because I was like, oh, I know this kid's like an NYC artist and maybe I'll meet him in like a couple of years or something. But also like
shout out Danny Cole.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, I got some of those, but at the same time, when he mentions a different project, I'm like, okay, if it's on his radar, I should at least look into it rather than just like, you know what I mean? So it's
look into Gary V. Like you go watch old videos of Gary V and say what you want about him, but like, he's been right about a lot of things.
Yeah, for sure.
And he was talking about social media before anybody was posting on social media. And I compare NFTs kind of as like an additional way to speak and to engage your community. So social media gave an opportunity for founders, businesses to speak to their audience directly. NFTs allow for like a greater partitioning to go an even lower level in fandom and an even greater partition. So it's like, okay, you're still going to do your social media, but we want to give back to those 1,000 true fans. We want to empower them with actual ownership and kind of let them do. And now you have a whole nother ecosystem to play in.
And I think one of the things that kind of like pissed me off when NFTs started to explode is like most people were creating these utilities around NFTs that could be done without NFTs, you know? And you could also say we could do the bash without the NFTs, but you couldn't really because the secondary market, if you want to sell your spot, which we've already had people selling and moving up.
Awesome.
So wouldn't have been able to, so cool. Wouldn't have been able to do that. And I like, that was one thing I wanted to make sure that we didn't go down that path. And I'm excited for as the tech starts to like increase here, it'll show the true use of being like, you own our NFT. I can get in touch with you. I can give you anything I want at the snap. And that's gonna take a while with the technology.
So just to dive, like, because people here and they're like, oh, why couldn't you have just made a pass and then made your own marketplace that then sell? Like the amount of heavy lift that is absurd.
It's already built in NFTs.
Like, we didn't even have people asking that. People were just like, no need to make this an NFT. I'm like, there's a very fucking clear and obvious need to make it an NFT.
If that person, what was his name, who bought the 101?
Wait, who bought the 101?
Whatever.
Aaron.
Yeah, so sorry. Aaron bought the 101. If it wasn't an NFT,
you can't.
How would that have happened?
You'd have to buy the guy's email user account,
or you'd have to.
Like, you'd have to like sell these as Shopify products or something.
Or you do. There isn't really like a good technical answer. And the beauty about like Ethereum is it takes away the database management from the application, like your back end. Just real quick from an application standpoint. So you have a front end, you have a back end. Back end is like the database storage. You just offload that to Ethereum and someone else. You don't have to do any of that. You can just, and there's all these marketplaces that have a permissionless ability to provide utility for these passes. And that's just going to ever expand over time.
It's going to be fucking sick. We had a tournament related question. Ivan asked, don't know if y'all touched on it, but what happens if the BDG boys win their leagues? Are y'all keeping that ETH?
Oh, saving the company money. I'm the fucking hero.
I'm giving it right back. If I win my league, I'm putting the 1 ETH back into the 11 other members in my league. Like straight up. I'm telling you, anyone that sells a fucking League 1 NFT is going to regret it by the end of the year.
If you sell League 2 NFT, good for you.
League 6 is the real league. League 6 is a real rare league.
I'm taking all that shit. I'll take all your ETH. I'm the sharp. I'm going to win. I have no mercy.
Yeah. So, I mean, to answer your question, it's kind of like up to their discretion. I'm not going to be taking the ETH if I win it. I'm not going to be, I'll take the 10,000 shares if I end up winning the entire
taking
tournament.
The shares. I'm taking the ETH. I'm taking it all.
We'll find out a lot about people if our fucking boys win.
That's a fun dynamic. Like, yo, I'm in Animals League. Like, I'm in Nick's League. Like,
well, I think like
I was saying that someone sold one in my league, and I was like, oh, now my sole mission is to make that kid great. Like, I'm gonna put another 1 ETH up in the grand prize fucking total for my league out of my pocket.
And the opportunities are endless. Like the opportunities are endless for what you can actually like do, and that's going to expand over time.
Yeah, I'm excited to see some of the content that's like, obviously we're going to make content, but some of the content that other people are going to be making about the, because we have a lot of influencers here and just a lot of people in general that are in the content game, maybe not as big but want to. So
we got a comment from Richard Wagner, said I got a full set of NFT, it's trash.
Yeah, okay. So there you go. We're already providing more value. Bang.
There you go. Boom.
We got one from John. Can't wait till next year when we get 1,200 people after this blows up. And this is the coolest part, I think, about where we're sitting right now, is that we know a minimum demand of 600 people. As long as we execute and make it fun as fuck for all 600 people, we know that that demand will come back for next year, and it'll only help us grow. And then we can choose what we want. It's like, okay, do we keep it at 600 and make the demand fucking tenfold? Do we open it to 700, 900, 1,200? Like, we have a nice
25
baseline.
leagues,
and going back to the pivot from 1 to 3, that gives us that ability.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing, is to take it year by year. We can make it better each year, other than just locking in for 3 years that they could have been mediocre. We don't know now.
And there is a chance that it kind of, this is a risk that is experimental. Like, so it's as a business also, because like there are people probably listening who are like, oh, I run this business. Like as a business, you haven't tied yourself into something if it isn't, because end of the day, this isn't a proven isn't a proven model. Like you are trailblazing in a sense. So how can you keep the business itself adaptable?
Yeah. Someone asks, are all the leagues next year going to be random? Are there going to be larger amount of rare leagues? I am glad I listened to the original video Nick sent. Yeah, I mean, listen, but those are questions we don't have the answer to.
That's all stuff that we have. We're gonna obviously play by ear kind of thing.
We'll see what happens. Maybe we add another 5. We make a little bit more money so we can put it all back in. We add another 5 rare league. Austin has his own rare league, or like someone else in the office has their own rare league. Like, a lot of flexibility.
Someone who wins, maybe the person who wins Nick's league this year will get a fucking free. There's a lot of stuff that can be done. So I'm not going to
have 2 rare leagues?
I'm not going to. No, they say they get like a free entry next year.
Oh,
you're gonna. Yeah. This guy's getting real cocky. Yeah, so there's just a lot of stuff that we can do here. So, don't think like, that's it, whatever. There's plenty more to be coming. Don't
it just comes back to the trust factor. It's like, if you fuck with us and you believe in us, which I think all we've done is like document what we're doing for 5 fucking years. There's no reason not to. That's what it always comes back to. Does BDG have a royalty on secondary purchase 5%, right?
I believe it's 5%. I don't know if I don't know. I didn't set it on OpenSea. I don't know if I have.
I think we might have set it.
Right, I think I saw it as 5%.
Yeah.
Again, though, like
that's what's so great about the incubator. They just take care of that shit for you.
Let's just
the sales are going to be super fucking minimal, I think, by the time, because draft is on Sunday. I don't think many more transactions will happen. We'll probably make like fucking 0.2 ETH off.
Yeah. We don't care about the royalties for the secondary sales. Really, it's more of just we want everyone to be in their leagues, and we want everyone to be ready to go for the draft on Sunday. That's it. We expect maybe a couple of sales here and there, but for the most part, I think everyone just wants to play. So that's probably
the boys want to play. They want to play.
I think we're close. I mean, I don't know if I could the exact number, but we're about 70 away from filling up all the leagues,
all the sleeper leagues.
Yeah, so like
something like that. And I think like 12 of those are influencers, so I could just text them and get them.
Yeah, so I mean, we're looking really good. Obviously, there's going to be a couple here and there that don't, end up making it, but for the most part, I mean, we're going to be at 90%. That's pretty damn good.
It's pretty strong. Alex says, if the grand prize is in shares of the company, does that mean BG is a public trade company? No, this was a comment I got so many times. You guys don't have to have share. If you're a company with shares, it does not mean you're publicly traded. you open up to be a publicly traded company because you want to scale and you want to take money from the public. We can be private. We have a set number. We have 10 million shares with our company. We have no value on that because we have not. It does not mean they're not valuable. That just means we don't have an exact value because we haven't taken investor money. Yeah. The first time, if we ever run out of money and we're like, hey, I need $2 million to keep this running for the next 2 years, we're going to have our first investor come in, set a price. You say, hey, I'm going to give you this much money for 10% of this. And that sets the value of the shares. And then everybody can work backwards that way. So no, it doesn't mean that we're publicly traded. I doubt we'll ever be fucking publicly traded. I don't know if we even want to, but just wanted to kind of clear that up.
Definitely not.
Have you guys checked out SBS? I think that's Spoiled Banana Society, Web3 Fantasy Football. Would love to do a collab with y'all. Been a long time fan. I'm one of the founders. Oh, you're one of the founders of SBS. Interesting. I've definitely become more acquainted with it over our process, but I didn't know before.
Into it.
Do you know them?
SBS,
Spoiled Banana Society.
I believe they're the ones that the grand prize is a Bored Ape, right?
Yes.
I don't want to promise a Bored Ape for them, but
I know Dr.
they're giving away a Bored Ape.
10 Bored Apes grand prize.
let's collab on that grand prize. I know Dr. Morse is in Spoiled Banana. I had not heard about it until when we were originally figuring out what the legality of the situation was. I remember we were looking at other examples of leagues that have done something similar with prizes and buy-ins and things like that. So became familiar with you. Richard, let's link up off of live stream for sure. Let's see. Yeah. So I go Wumbo said, I wanted to see how this worked out, so I didn't buy in, but I'm going to follow this really closely. If you guys nail it, it's an easy sell next year. Exactly.
Exactly. And I think there's going to be a lot of people like that. There's going to be a lot of people that were on the fence just maybe about NFTs in general. And they just said, you know what, I'll set this one out, see how it goes. And, that's we're going to be making a ton of content about it. So there's going to be plenty for you to watch. Yeah. And you'll be able to, choose hopefully next year.
So we have, are y'all expecting some league spots not to fill up? I'm still missing 3 in my league.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say there's probably going to be a handful of leagues that don't have all 12 in them. In that case, honestly, it kind of annoying because I guess there's a little bit less engagement. But for you, if you're playing for real fucking prizes, which you are,
it sucks. But like in the end, the way the format is, you're only playing each team once. So it's not like someone's going to play that team twice and get an extra win. Everyone gets to play them once. If they're not there, everyone gets a free win. It really doesn't affect the league. It's just more of a, obviously, if you're a very competitive person, you want to compete every single week. That sucks that 1 week, but hey, we're competing for money here. So
yeah, what you'll learn as like a brand or a company when especially dealing with things at scale, it is fucking impossible to communicate with everyone. Yeah. I could make an instructional video of how to get into your sleeper league and post it on Twitter 5 times a day, Instagram, every platform.
You could go to their house and staple it to their door.
You won't get 600. I know myself. Like there are things that I'm a part of that I don't listen to a fucking word the company says, and then when it comes to crunch time, I'm like, what do I do?
Scotfish.
So, well, you had to text me to join it. You're like, exactly. I'm like, shit.
Yeah. Who is the most surprising celebrity who got a pass in y'all's opinion? I would say most of the celebrities or influencers are dudes that I have a relationship personally with. And I was like, I want you to be part of it.
You mean maybe someone that like bought that we didn't expect?
I only know the sheet of people we gave it to. So I don't know anyone that was in it.
I think the only person I think maybe that I saw was Walter Picks.
Walter Picks, Sam Factor.
Yeah, Sam Factor's in there, which is pretty cool. I followed, I've been using that site for years, man.
Walter Picks?
Yeah. Seen that site. Everyone, I'm sure you're all familiar with it. He's in there, which is pretty cool. I saw him.
He just picked it up?
Yeah, I think he just got one on his own. Just wanted to be part of the bash. I think he might do some content around it, maybe.
Justin said, what platform are we drafting on? I bought in late. Bruh. Join the fucking Discord. Justin, you are the target audience of this attack on this podcast right now. Join the Discord. Link down below. We'll get you settled. We need to know what draft you're in, what league you're in, so we can give you that role, and then we'll hit you the link for your sleeper league. Out of control.
Walter Picks in my league 36.
Beast. I'm curious how many people rather have multiple passes versus one rare pass. That's a good question. One that I can't answer.
I'm an odds man. So if it's for me as a sharp, I'm taking the multiple regular passes. Because if you're competing for the bash, like your goal is to win the whole thing, you want more chances. Your one rare pass gets you your chance to win your rare league, and maybe you get your one ETH prize there. But
it's going to depend on what what the BDG member does with their rare league.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
For me, I would rather own one of mine than 50 bash passes.
Yeah, because you do not want to sell out of Nick's league.
Yeah.
If you sell out of Nick's league,
you're done.
You're done.
Fucking dead to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't sell out of Nick's league because
that's forever.
Shit.
You know that forever.
Forever. You're in league one, and it kind of kills me because there's like 2 or 3 influencers in my fucking league that I just gave a pass to for free. They're not handling the goods. No fucking shot. Will I get in trouble for trading my entire team to Nick's sister? No, because it's not possible. There's no trades, bitch. Yabish. What else we got? Sorry, I work like 20 hours a week, or I spend all my time on Xbox. Can't remember. Wow, you work a whole 20 hours a week and you can't fucking follow directions.
Wait, I read that for a second. Like 20 hours a day? Like, damn, what a beast.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you sound like us right now. Yeah. Is Ike worth a damn in fantasy, or is League 39 wide open?
It's wide open, bro.
It's like a hooker's legs. Yeah. You're fucking straight.
You got a good shot.
Who is Austin most excited about for the future of the incubator? Oh, what is Austin most excited about for the future of the incubator?
I think it's building for companies and brands that want to get into the space, making it as easy as possible to integrate and basically get people who are Web 2 or just normal internet companies, whether that's e-com, whether that's just products, whether that's services, and they want to integrate into
the Web3 universe.
Yeah, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to make a NFT. Like we're working with companies that are selling apparel that are NFTs that you can go through. They'll do everything for you, and now you have collectibles that are verifiable. So like if you have a purse that
like the Gap did, I don't know if you remember when the Gap had their I wasn't on ETH, so it was shit, but the Gap had like an NFT drop basically where if you collected like X amount of Gap hoodies in the virtual one, they would send you like a real one. It was like only 50 people could do it. So like like a lot of those like already established brands like making their way into the space.
For sure. And I think one really, really cool thing is permissionless partnerships. So some people will be like, oh, that's probably a bad thing. But like, okay, everybody now knows the BDG community. So every holder, they know everyone who's there. You can now, if you're a company, let's say I'm a sportswear company, or I could give BDGE a discount, or I could give them, because I know those holders. So that's a whole like token gating and like token access. So that's kind of something that
like you're like us. A separate brand that could be like, hey, like anyone who holds BDG3.
That's what I was talking about. Like the tech, I still like is still.
Oh, so
the tech is still far off.
So we're exploring a lot of stuff to make it so that there's this, you can build on top of it and give value to holders without permission from you guys. And now people will be like, isn't that a bad thing? Like you're getting direct access to those. No, because let's say from social media, you're like, oh, I'm not going to create on social media. I don't want people to know who follow my brand, because then they're going to know exactly who those people are and they can DM them and try and get them. No, you're giving back and you're creating a flourishing ecosystem to provide value.
Yeah, I think when the tech is right, it'll be like some flawless process where like we want permission to ship, but like maybe they'll run it by BDG, just give them a quick okay, and then they have the ability to do whatever they want.
Yeah, I mean,
just the tech is,
and also people can do this without, like, let's say somebody who holds you don't even have to be a holder, wanted to build like a cool little portal that could show like the sleeper rankings or like something for holders. You can build that because the user information is public. Whereas before NFTs and before this kind of shift from permissionless to permissioned, you controlled the user information. So you would have to reach out to BDG and be like, and it was just so much more clunky. So really removing that friction is what.
That'd be like, I was gonna say something like, Dr. Jesse Morse gave basically all BDG3 holders get access to the injury draft guide. So right now, we have a link and we dropped a link.
Right,
in
it's still Web 2y. It's still very Web 2y.
So we're excited to make that for like companies like you.
Like in the future, it would be like one of those things where like, if you have this, like check your, shit, it's there now.
Check
like,
your something.
I don't know.
It might even be, we might not even be there yet, where there's a mix between a wallet and an email address that hasn't been created yet that we don't even know about. You know what I mean?
So Premint's actually kind of doing
That's
this.
not user friendly.
So where you actually sign in one time using your wallet, so you'll like sign it, and then now it's connected with like a Web 2 login.
Yeah, connect to your Twitter.
Yeah, so now you can.
Because like right now, like OpenSea or your wallet or whatever is like, you really can only receive like PNGs, and then people could just tell you what those incentivized for. But it's like there will be something that brings everything together where it's like, I want to send you this. They're all fucking different things, and you could just have it there.
It's so fun because like when the internet first came out and like the App Store, nobody envisioned Uber. What the App Store provided was a framework and a playground for smart people to build and entrepreneurs to find business opportunity. Like right now, there's so many problems. So like when we're integrating the credit card payment, we're like, what is the problem here? The problem is people don't have ETH. They don't know what's going on. The solution, credit card payment, custodial wallet services that you can transfer if you want. Okay, what are other problems right now? The problems are so endless. So as an entrepreneur, it's like this playground of where is this issue and how can I solve that?
Jordan asks, what are the most underrated Web3 platforms? This is definitely not my area, so I'm not exactly sure what he's asking.
I mean, that's a very broad question, I guess, because like, I'm sure there's a lot of like actual Web3 platforms, like just even like some of the finance tools like that people use, like NFT Nerds, I think is like, if you're an NFT degen, like the single best tool you can possibly have. Whereas like, you know, I think
it depends who you are, right? If you're a consumer versus a builder versus a creator, I think probably just a consumer. I mean, say what you want about OpenSea, it's pretty strong. Like it's pretty good. It's a pretty good product. I guess to answer it really depends who you are, and then you can kind of dive into that.
Yeah, like I mean, if you're like an NFT, like there's like minting bots that are out there that like, you know, that's not, I don't know if I'd say it's a platform, like NFT Sensei is like a minting bot where there's only X amount of people can have it. So like it could be the best tool you ever had. You know, you can mass mint things, and you know, it really, like you said, it really depends on the user, I guess.
And so just to kind of, so one kind of example, Shopify, you can integrate discounts based on your
token gated an app now, right?
Yeah. So like, for example, one of our partners at Cryptoon Goons, they were one of the first stores to token gate their Shopify store. So if you go in as a holder,
you connect with your wallet,
you get like a 30-40% discount. Yeah. And there's a lot of things that are just being built on because this is think of like your NFT as your global like username so everybody in the world knows that you're a member of this group.
That's what I mean. Like, there's not like the word for it yet. It's a mixture between the wallet and the email that I just don't think has been.
It's your internet profile. It's like your
community.
There's gonna be something.
You're a part of the community.
Someone said pseudo swap. Scott.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Scott.
Shout out Scott for the intro too. Shout out Scott.
Yeah. Shout
out Scott
for sure.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Scott. Without Scott,
Scott knew Jesse.
So Scott from AlphaMint. So Scott knew Jesse. So Jesse is our CTO. And then so Scott basically was like, "Yo, talk to this guy." And then so shout out Scott.
Fuck yeah!
Smash the like button for Scott.
Yeah,
Scott's been hooking us up for a while now.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, we've been on here for almost an hour, and I think we've probably ran through most of the questions. I'll give it like another minute or so. If anyone out there has any questions related to the project, the logistics, the incubator, BDGE, anything at all, now is your time to yell about it.
Ivan, I would say just check the Discord for updates. Everything's going to be in there. Anything BDG3 wise, if you hold a pass and you want to know what's going to be happening this week, next week, whatever, make sure you are in the Discord because that's where all the updates are going to be. Everything's going to be in the Discord. That's where all the leagues are. You know, that's where everything is. So get in there.
Join the Discord.
Join the damn Discord.
Check the announcements.
Open
a ticket so you can chat with Animal.
Don't open a ticket.
All right. We'll get out of here. Throw some eggs up on the screen for y'all.
Throw some eggs up.
Visionary Reaper. All right. Thank y'all. As I said before, all their information, incubator, Austin stuff is in the description. Let's fucking bash.
Let's bash, baby.
Let's bash, bitches.